Make sure you download the offline roadmap because there are a fair amount of turns. Just like the Copper Creek Cut, this trailhead requires braving a dirt road that often has some snow. We almost chickened out because the precipitation in the forecast and our bad experience the previous year. Obviously, we had nothing to worry about, and as we drew closer to the trailhead, we were a bit perplexed by the complete lack of snow. We kept thinking just around the next corner. Well, we didn't find the snow as we rose in elevation and moved into the cloud, so a bit less rainy than below. The upper parking area was even open, which was a nice treat because it saved us a good bit of hiking and elevation gain. But when it is open, if a storm is coming, you might want to think twice about parking up there. If you're one of those people, like me, who want to see every detail, including what is in every drawer at the yurt, click the video here or below for the detailed yurt tour. Obviously, I don't want vehicles to go around this gate, but I feel like they forgot to allow a way for people to get around it without crawling underneath. We managed and started our journey, which was less snowy than we had envisioned. Much, much less. In total, about 25% of the trail was bare, and our poor sled got a rough break in. In exchange, the quickly melting snow kept us entertained with some extra water features. Here are some of what our snow park passes go towards paying for. Looking at all this equipment makes the pass seem like quite a bargain. You technically can go down or come back on this trail, making your journey a loop, but the signs warning of rough terrain didn't sound like a good idea with the sled, so we stuck to the main road. To the caretaker about this trail, and he thought it would be wide enough to be dual with the sled if there was enough snow. Just a bit steeper and possibly more tilt side to side, so maybe best for those with a proper sled harness. You can find links for how to build one and other resources below. These prayer flags coincide with the high point of the trail, and felt like a colorful celebration of that fact. You have a tiny more up after going down a bit, but when you get here, most of your climbing is done. Mercifully, we finally got a good bit of snow and downhill at the same time, giving the sled a chance to shine. At least mostly. This trail is groomed most of the winter for skiers, so on a normal day, snowshoers would need to stay off to the side. Along with the snow, we also got a bit of blue sky. That is Snow Bowl on the ridge in the distance. It is one of the other huts that share this trail, and one of the two that we haven't visited yet, but maybe next year. It has a slightly different layout, but it is similar capacity to the Copper Creek one we visited last year. We were getting super close, and just around the corner from the yurt was this view, once again brought to you by logging. These cut areas may not always be pretty, but there'd be very few views on this trip without them. Finally, our home for the night. Today it even featured a snow igloo for anyone who misbehaves. It had a little gear area below, and all kinds of nice touches inside, including retractable drying racks on a pulley system. Sleeping arrangements included bunk bed, 2 single futons, a double futon, and a couple of floor mats, so plenty of options. The kitchen was fully stocked with cookware, dishes, utensils, and even things like spices. Even the pit toilet was thoughtfully done and decorated. After checking the place out, we decided that there was way too much blue sky outside to waste, so we lightened our packs and headed up Griffin Mountain. Finally, our snowshoes came in handy and were essential. If you were just looking for a short hike, this is where I would make the turnaround point. If you want to go further, supposedly if you go all the way up the road and circle around the backside, there could be a Rainier view. We went a bit past the viewpoint, but decided to call it at a dip with a small water crossing. It was very doable, but might have required moving the snowshoes to do safely, and we had cookies and a hot dinner waiting. For entertainment, you can peruse the book collection, play a game, do a puzzle, read one of the many logbook stories, or even add to it by writing your own. In the logbook, you can find everything from artwork and math equations to ghost stories and tales of rat kings. The next morning we woke to fresh snow and a hot breakfast. We cleaned up, refilled the water for the next guests, and said goodbye to this cozy refuge. The caretaker stopped by to check up on the place and refill the emergency candy supply. This place didn't have the spectacular views of some of our other adventures, but it is still pretty and special in its own way, especially the amount of thought and love that goes into making these places possible. The fresh snow just barely coated the trail and lightly blanketed the trees. The caretaker had come a different way, so we got to make the first footprints of the day in the new snow. Somehow we managed the perfect balance of precipitation on this trip. Not a drop of rain while we hiked, and no snow on the road. Can't ask for much better than that. Thank you for joining us on this adventure. There are hiking resources below and information on free ways to help support this channel. The easiest is liking and subscribing. Thank you. Happy exploring.